You ever just stop and think that the way we talk about creativity, it just feels a little off? We're always talking about the grind, how we manufacture content or build a project. It all sounds so cold, so industrial. Well, today we're going to dive into a whole different way of thinking about our creative work, one that's a lot less like a factory and way more like a family.
Okay, just look at this for a second. On the left, you've got the language of a machine. Grind, build, manufacture. It just sounds exhausting, doesn't it? But now, look at the right. What if we swap those out for words like breathe, nurture, release? This isn't just about semantics, you know. The words we choose literally shape how we feel about our work and, honestly, what we're even capable of creating.
And this idea right here, this is the heart of it all. This reframes the entire act of creation. It's not an assembly line anymore. It's more like, well, parenting. You're not just snapping pieces together. You're nurturing something. You're giving it a piece of your own life, and then you're getting it ready to go out and live in the world.
So, here's the roadmap for today. We're going to start with that big question, factory or family? Then, we'll walk through the whole life cycle of an idea, from breathing that initial life into it, to building it a safe space to grow, learning how to let it go, finding it the right home, and then the best part, when it starts to breathe back.
All right, first up, is your creative process more like a factory or a family? And this isn't just some abstract philosophical question. The metaphor you subconsciously choose has a huge impact on how you treat your ideas, and believe me, the final quality of your work.
I mean, think about that for a minute. A factory-made chair? It's assembled, it's functional, sure. It's probably efficient, even technically perfect. But a hand-carved heirloom, that was birthed. It has a soul, it carries the marks, the story, the very energy of its creator. That's the difference we're talking about here.
So, if we're going to talk about birthing our work, what does that actually look like? Well, it all starts with this one crucial act, consciously breathing your own life, your own spirit, into the raw material of your idea. Let's call it the creator's breath. And look, this isn't some mystical, out-there concept. It's really tangible. It's the sum of your unique life experiences, your emotions, your weird point of view, all the stuff that makes you, you, getting poured directly into the work itself. Because here's the thing, and this is so important. You can have all the technical skill in the world, you can check every box, but without that breath of life, the work just feels sterile. It might look perfect on the surface, but it won't have that soul, that spark that actually connects with another human being. Now, once an idea has that little spark of life, it is incredibly fragile. It's like a tiny seedling. It can be stamped out by a single harsh word, or, let's be honest, more often by our own brutal inner critic. That's why it needs a safe space to grow, and that space has to start inside our own heads.
And we'll call this the sanctuary. It's basically a little psychological safe room where your ideas are allowed to be messy, incomplete, and just plain weird. It's a place with no judgment, no rigid expectations, and no immediate pressure to perform. It's an incubator, a greenhouse for those fragile little thoughts.
So, how do you actually build one? Well, you start by giving yourself permission to make really bad drafts. You allow yourself to suspend logic for a while and just play, without any thought of profit. And the hardest part? You have to tell that internal perfectionist to just be quiet for a little while. This is all about creating a warm, nurturing environment for your ideas before they're ready to face the world.
Okay, so this brings us to a really tricky but absolutely essential paradox. You spend all this time and energy protecting this thing, nurturing it, specifically so that one day it can leave you. Yep, just like a parent, every creator has to learn the art of letting go. And this is the tough question you have to ask yourself. When you're holding on to your work, endlessly polishing it, waiting for that perfect moment that never seems to arrive, are you actually protecting it? Or are you just keeping it in a cage? And this right here is the hard truth. Holding on for too long denies the work of its entire purpose. You're not protecting it anymore. You're imprisoning it. You're robbing it of the chance to go out and have its own life. Doing this, hitting that publish or send button, it takes real bravery. Because in that instant, the work isn't entirely yours anymore. It now belongs to the audience. They're going to interpret it, love it, maybe even hate it in ways you never intended. And you know what? That's not just okay. That's the whole point.
But releasing your work isn't just about chucking it out into the world and hoping for the best.
Giving it a home means finding the right context for it to flourish. And this is where we have to reframe that word that so many of us creatives hate, marketing, into something much better: stewardship.
This simple shift in language completely changes the energy of sharing your work, doesn't it? Suddenly, selling out becomes finding a habitat. Pushing a product becomes identifying a need. You stop being a promoter and you start being a caretaker, making sure your creation finds the exact right place to live and breathe.
I love this metaphor because it says it all perfectly. You wouldn't release a tropical bird into the Arctic and expect it to survive, right? Well, your creative work is exactly the same. It needs the right context, the right audience, the right platform, the right conversation to truly come alive.
And that brings us to the final stage, the most fulfilling part of this entire cycle. Because when you've done all of this, when you've breathed life into your work and found it the perfect home, something truly beautiful happens. Your creation starts to breathe back at you. We can call this the echo. It's the impact your work has out in the world. It's that one comment from a stranger that says, "This really changed how I think." It's that email that says, "Thank you, I really needed to hear this today." That echo, that's what validates the whole crazy journey. And it's what refuels you to do it all over again.
And let's be really clear about something. This has nothing to do with fame or going viral. The legacy of your work isn't measured in millions of views. If your work can make a meaningful difference for just one single person, you've succeeded. That is a massive, profound victory.
So let's just quickly run through that life cycle one more time. You inhale inspiration, breathing your unique self into an idea. You build a sanctuary to keep it safe while it grows. You find the courage to let it go. You act as a good steward to find its proper habitat. And finally, you get to receive the echo of its impact on the world.
And in the end, that's what this is all about. Creating anything is both of these things at once. It's a heavy responsibility to care for something so personal, but it is an absolute joyous privilege to get to contribute something new to the world, something that carries a little piece of your soul with it.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Think about that project you've been sitting on, that idea that's stuck in a notebook somewhere. It's alive, and it's waiting for you. Are you ready to stop being its jailer and start being the one who gives it a home?